everyone and welcome to my vlog. So today's video is on Eid day. So I went to my mum's house on Eid and she made some lovely food. So these are faludas. So faludas got a rose water syrup and then some vermicelli and some rose water milk with an ice cream. A bit like a milkshake. And then she made these curry dishes. So starting from the right side, there's fried fish, there's chicken korma, there's lamb curry, and also some biryani. These were all delicious and full of flavour. The faluda was nice and sweet, and you could taste the rose flavour syrup.
Is that what you guys did last time?
Yeah, it is good.
And this was my plate. I got some of the biryani with the onions sprinkled on top with some salad and an egg, and also the chicken korma. This was very nice. It was full of flavour. It's nice and creamy as well. The chicken was nice and soft. So this part of the video was actually from a few days before, and it was in my house when I was hosting an iftar for Ramadan. So I was making a few different recipes. So this one was some mince mixture that I was making to go inside of the pastries. So I mixed some of the mince with onions, some thyme, some tomato, and some turmeric and some coriander powder. And I also added in some potatoes which I boiled and made into small cubes. So this would then go inside of two different pastry cases. I also added some za'atar, which is an Arabic style spice. And this is going to be, it's called chana, which is like chickpea, and it's just mixed with some onions, some of the diced potatoes as well, and some spices. And in this I was just making the rice, so I fried some of the cloves and the cinnamon and the cardamom with the bay leaf. And then I fried the rice, added the onions, and added in the meat. And this was just fried, and then obviously I added the water and left it to sit. While that was cooking, I started to fill the pastry up with the mince mixture that I had made. So these were going to be put into rectangular shape, so I just made a bit of a mark to mark out how big to make it, just as a guide. Tried to make them as equal as possible, so I left a fair amount of distance between each one. And then the lines helped to know where to put the mixture. Also to put a line that will go in the middle where I will cut the pastry once it's filled. So now I've got the base, the rectangle shape on each one. I know how much to put in each one, so I scooped in the mince mixture in to the pastry, or onto the pastry. It's important not to put too much on, otherwise the pastry will burst and there will be cracks in the pastry once the top sheet is added. So I tried to flatten it out to avoid this happening, and I made sure I put some equal amount in each one, because some of them had a little bit less and some had a bit more, so I just transferred them over if they were a little bit less. Next I added the pastry sheet on top. Then I had to try and find where the lines are clear so I could know where to cut. So I just pressed each part down to make sure it fills up and there's no gaps to avoid it breaking. I also then went in with a fork to seal it properly. Then I just cut where the gaps were. The next part after cutting would be to seal each side using a fork. I did the same to each of the pastries, and then I put them onto an oven dish on some baking paper ready to bake. I just set that aside while I made the second batch. This was going to be a different type of pastry, but using the same filling in it, but adding on some extra tomato. So the last one was shortcut pastry. This one I was going to use puff pastry. So on the puff pastry I added some tomato sauce. So I will add on the mince, but I wanted this to taste a bit like pizza flavoured. So I added some of the tomato first and then the mince. So this is the same mince mixture with the potatoes that I had made earlier. So I'm going to lay it all out flat on top of the pastry, because this will be rolled. So this will be like a pin roll puff pastry. So before I roll it, I need to make sure there's enough filling inside. And I did have a lot of filling left over as well, and I wanted to make sure I use all of it. So that's why I added whatever was left in. And then I added some extra tomato and some cheese. Not too much, because I was going to add some more on top afterwards. But just some equal amount on each side. So it's just enough cheese. Next I added the za'atar. So za'atar has a very distinct flavour. So I like to add it to make it a bit different and add that addition of flavour. And then it was ready to roll. So once it was rolled, I made some marks to see where I would cut it, just so I made it equal in size and also know where to cut. So once the marks were made, I just cut them and made sure they were separated. I just put them back into a circular shape because cutting them had made them a little bit flat on one side, but just putting it into a circle just helped. And then I flattened them out a little bit. Just made sure there's enough space because they will expand a little bit in the oven, so I have to make sure they've got space to grow, otherwise they're just going to join together. So make sure it's all circular shapes. Then they were added onto the baking paper, ready to go in the oven with the other pastries. Just before they went in, I put some egg wash on. I couldn't find the brush that I have, so I just used a fork. And after egg washing, I just put on some more cheese and some more za'atar on top. I sprinkled on some sesame seeds to the other pastries after they were egg washed. And this just makes it look quite nice when it's baked. And this is them fresh out the oven. So there's the puff pastry, swirls, and those are the short crust pasties. So like I said earlier, this one's gone for more of a pizza style taste. So a pizza styled puff pastry. Once that was done, I started to fry up the samosas. So these were meat and potato samosas. And these were done. Next up was the mango lassi. So for the mango lassi, I used some Greek style yogurt, and this was the honey flavoured Greek style yogurt. So I then added the mango pulp, which was sweetened, and I just mixed it together with the big spoon. I also did add some extra honey as well. So once it was mixed, it looked like this. The next one was dessert. So I was making a chocolate trifle. So I had broken up the pieces of chocolate cake and added some chocolate custard. And then on top of this, I will layer on some more of the chocolate cake. Just even out the layer, and then repeat the process by adding more chocolate custard. And then once that's done, I started to mix the cream using an electric whisk. So then I put on the cream on top, so it was a nice thick consistency. I just evened out the cream. There was quite a lot of extra cream, so I just added it. And then once I did that, I broke some chocolate into small pieces and just sprinkled them on top. And then I added some fresh raspberries. So I wasn't sure how much the raspberries would fill, but it ended up, the whole entire packet was about the correct amount for filling up the whole trifle, so it was ideal. I just cleaned up the edges, and that was the chocolate trifle complete. I was quite happy with the presentation of it. And the last one was the Biscoff cheesecake, so I smashed up some of the biscuit with a rolling pin and then added it to the base and then put in the cheesecake mixture. And this was on serving time. So we've got the samosas, some of the kebabs, some onion bhajis, so the pastries that I had made earlier, the biryani with fried onions on top, the mango lassi, got the mixed salad, the trifle, the Biscoff cheesecake, which has got the lotus biscuits on top as well. So the cheesecake was mixed with the Biscoff butter. We've also got some shemai, which is like a vermicelli milk pudding at the end of the table. And just put the dates on each of the plates ready for everyone to eat. So you can see the chana as well, which is the chickpea and potato mix, and also there's some breaded chicken next to the onion bhajis. I had cut the eggs into a certain shape, then added some salad. This actually turned out quite nice. I always like having a salad with the rice. And this is the chocolate trifle. I really like this. I will definitely make this again. And that's it for today. Please remember to like and subscribe for more. Thank you.